Welcome to the Love, Learn, Lead podcast. Your host, Mason City Schools Superintendent Jonathan Cooper, will explore the stories of people who are difference makers in their communities. Let's get started and find out who we will be hearing from today.
Well, we have another great show today for you. We have amazing guests that are going to be here today to talk about the XLP program, our Experiential Learning Program. This is a program that is one of the things that gets me most excited to watch our students discovering purpose and potential, and you're going to hear all about it today. It's a must-listen show. So before we get started, I've had the pleasure of serving here in the district for about 11 years now, and when we first started this concept of the XLP program, this Experiential Learning Program, we really didn't know what we were doing. That was what's exciting about it. We just knew that we wanted to connect students to different career opportunities in an authentic way and build their leadership. So we knew that. We started the program. I had a great partner that helped start this with Deb Gentine, and she really got this rolling, and we had big ideas. And then we had another great partner come on with the Westchester Hospital, and Mr. Tom Daskalaikis came along. He said, Jonathan, you need to have your students come in and experience and come on site and see what's going on in the hospitals, because it's a pipeline that we need to solve with this whole idea of, because they had a shortage. And so this was a solution. So he brought us over there and we started getting our students involved. And it started to go, and then we had a little bit of a pause because of some of the things going on in the world, and we had to slow things down when we went online, and then we started to come back up. And we said, what could we use that as an opportunity, as that disruption to say, how could we even make this better? And how could we have this even go to more students, because it's such a great program? And we had Mr. Schroeder come along and join us in this process. He had a big vision for this and a heart for this. And we said, just turn it over to students. And he did just that and turned it over to students. And once students took off, this program just exploded. And it's been such an impact in our community for our students and beyond. You're going to hear all about that. So we're excited to get started. We're going to start first with introductions now that you've heard a little bit about where we're going. And so, Rayyan, do you mind starting us off? Who are you?
Sure.
And maybe a little bit about your future.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Rayyan Aquino. I am a recent Mason High School alumni, just graduated this Sunday. I was previously on the Experiential Learning Program team running our Mason Venture Studio, which is our brand new legacy program as a student small business incubator. For the future, I will be majoring in mechanical engineering at Marquette University with a minor in music. So a lot of cool interest there, but I'm very excited to be here.
We can't wait to see where you're going to go with that. That's exciting. Mr. Schroeder.
Yeah, I'm Joe Schroeder. I'm actually a parent of two Mason alumni, and I help run the Experiential Learning Program.
Hi, my name is Annie Droege. I am also an XLP advisor, but I also have two present Mason comments, and just have a background in nonprofit for the past 2 decades, and just finished my year of presidency for Mason Kiwanis Club.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm David Charpentier. I have 3 Common alum and a rising junior, and just a member of this community with a passion to serve veterans and our students in the district.
We're so glad that you're all here today to talk about this amazing program. So I'm going to start with my first question, and we're going to go to you, Annie, to talk a little bit about, well, what is the program today if someone has never heard about XLP, and why is this important? Why do we have this in our high school?
Sure. XLP is a program where we connect students to career professionals in a variety of fields. And we do that by connecting them with several different events that we have, such as breakfast with, career panel discussions, internships, job shadows, company tours. But in order to do all of those things with the 3,500 students that are in the high school, we have an excellent team of student leaders that help us power this program. So we are able to connect even more students to more opportunities, and we are always looking for new community partners, new community businesses that would like to partner with us.
And Annie, why you've been a part of this program? Why is it important for our youth today, and for schools to consider having a program like this?
This is an easy one to answer. It's when a student has the ability to explore future options, it makes them more confident in their ability to choose what's next after high school, whether that is a 2-year degree, 4-year degree, or going right into the workforce. And we are able to provide them a plethora of opportunities to do all that exploration and make the best decision for themselves.
I think what's beautiful about it is when you see a teacher working through a topic and they're talking about these are possible careers, there's an actual system for that. So when a teacher sees a kid might be interested in something, they can then promote and say, well, check out XLP. They actually have a pathway to experience this. So that connection back to the learning in the classroom, the connection out into the community, it's a system I think that schools should really have in place. Well, let's move to our student leader. I mean, you have experienced it firsthand. You're a student leader in this program. Maybe what has it meant to you, and maybe give an example of how you've used the program and leveraged it to grow your own leadership and learn about yourself.
I'm going to have to say XLP has meant so much to me, even just for the past couple of years that I've been a part of it. I mean, internally, like all of our student team, we kind of just call each other the company, because that's how Mr. Schroeder kind of is just like framed us as a company that we work together and we're kind of like a family. And when Mr. Schroeder might share some career success principles with us or kind of tell us some daily lessons like plant your evergreens, which is to build a legacy beyond yourself, it kind of boils down to XLP itself being a program where you don't just help your fellow students, you're starting to empower them by creating spaces where they can actually grow as fast as possible. So when it came to creating a legacy project such as the Mason Venture Studio, that was like the main central dogma that I was looking at, is that how are we going to empower these kids to start their own businesses, to launch their own startup companies, and kind of connect and network with the regional startup space that we have here in Cincinnati, because it's an incredibly rich culture that we have here. It's a huge culture of innovation, and having our students tapped into that me being able to see that over the past year is mind-boggling, definitely. Well, I'd say what the program has done for me is, well, I'm an Anthony Bourdain fan, so I do want to like put an Anthony Bourdain quote on here, and then just to say, he always says, never be afraid to eat a bad meal. And that resonates with me because, you know, a lot of this was risk-taking. When it came to creating the Mason Venture Studio, I genuinely had no idea from the very beginning what to do. I tried to rephrase and redesign and reverse engineer from different programs in Silicon Valley, and I know that a lot of our underclassmen are more Silicon Valley tapped than I am. It amazes me every time when I talked to freshmen in the program how tapped in they were to different cultures and new tech and AI, and all these different technologies. So I was never afraid to kind of take a risk and take these different angles at different things or approach a problem differently. And that allowed us to kind of loop in the portrait of a comment back into the program and talk a lot more about adaptability. It's something that I share and that we shared plenty of times with our 11 startup teams for our first cohort. So.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing some insight. And I love the quote and trying things new and not being afraid of that. It sounds like you've built some confidence to take the right kind of risk in life, and that's going to serve you well into the future. David, you have been a great partner in our community. You've been a great partner of our school in many, many ways. But one of the ways I'd love you to share a little bit about is the program that developed out of a need for students and meeting them where they're at. So talk to us a little bit about that program. What was it called? How did it come about? And what are some of the things that you've seen come out of that?
Yeah, Jonathan, I've been working at a manufacturing accelerator, and it credit to Bob Leslie, the owner, who created an opportunity for small manufacturing businesses to come and grow and go. And his passion to give back and show students pathways outside of, a lot of kids here go to college, and college is a great avenue for many students. But he's like, there's a lot of kids though that working with their hands, working in tech or industry is a powerful choice. So it was an interesting partnership because I was having conversations with Joe Schroeder, and Joe was having conversations with someone else in the community. And we created this partnership that we called Skilled Trades Workshop. And we had another community partner come in and really lean in from an investment standpoint. And we created a workshop where kids got to go and learn how to be carpenters, do some plumbing, do some electric, do some roofing. And, the second iteration, Annie Droege got us connected with the Elite Welding Academy, and kids had opportunities to weld. And to see the faces of these kids light up who they said, sitting in school, I know I need to, but sitting in the chair is hard. And holy smokes, watching them work with their hands, watching them sand, watching them, use a nail gun, watching them grind a piece of metal and the sparks flying and the smells, seeing them come out of their shell, seeing them thrive. It's been, for me, an incredible example of that partnership that happens between the public, private, and people leaning in to give students opportunity to really find, their passion or find purpose.
We so appreciate all the connections that came together to give our students. And I had the pleasure of going to the most recent kind of graduation and certification process, and to hear the students step up and share their why and to share their future. The confidence that you see in the kids, that when they came in, they were quiet and they stepped up at the end to speak their truth and say, this is where I'm going and this is why. And it's like they found their way. And, as a district, we're always talking about purpose and potential and discovering that. You could definitely see kids coming out of there with that. And
yeah, I think there were a couple of other things. Probably 20% of the students were going into either directly to a career, got a job at the hub, going into an apprenticeship program, going to a welding academy. And, we're excited because there were several kids who were underclassmen or juniors who now they have the opportunity to come back next year and lead and be a part of the process. So I just continue to be really excited about that opportunity for kids to grow and find what they need.
And I love the continuum here. So you heard Rayyan talk about the Silicon Valley connection and taking risk and starting the startup companies and all these things. And then you have this beautiful example of the community coming in and saying, hey, there's another need here. And all these skills trades that are just a need in our community. And then to see the kids build like real things that are going to be used in our world. I think they talk about what did they build and where is it going to go?
Yeah. So this, three things that really took place. One, they built a pent roof shed for our outdoor wellness and leadership space at the ESA. Tim King said, hey, I need a shed. And, if you listen to episode 1, you'll hear Tim talk about that. So the kids built a shed. The kids built benches and tables for our MECC space. They built furniture with a nonprofit that go to needy families. And they built themselves a personal grill, charcoal grill. So a little bit for everybody.
Love it. Well, Joe, we're going to switch to you because it's time for us to start looking towards the future. And I know that the XLP program continues to expand and grow, and you've got big ideas and big dreams, and you're a big dreamer, which I love. So talk to us about where are we going?
So if as Rayyan was talking about the Mason Venture Studio and David was talking about the Skilled Trades Workshop, a lot of these ideas came because we had a student team and being connected to the students. They're coming up with these ideas and these needs, and we're just filling them. So the future, not only do we now have an XLP Junior, which focuses on the Mason Middle School, but we also, through the student team, created the mentorship program with Miss Droege running it. But the future, we're also adding, as part of XLP, a Comet Capital Fund, which will basically be a student-led investment firm. So we'll have a stock portfolio that they'll be able to make stock decisions and do stock pitches in front of investment firm managers that'll give the thumbs up, thumbs down on stock choices. They'll be able to manage the performance of it just like a Schwab or a Merrill Lynch. So they will learn the career of investment firm management or portfolio management. So we're starting that. We're also starting a student-led Mason alumni program. We're calling it the Comet Alumni Network, and that'll be 8 students will start that, create the plan, create the events, create the segments, and how we're going to engage alumni at their different stages. So we are starting that as well. So those are 2 new things that are springing out of the experiential learning program and basically being connected to students and what their career desires are and just trying to fill those.
Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you to think about a question. I'm going to go to Rayyan here in a second just to talk about where, if you were to speak to students in other districts, like why this is so important. But a question for you to think about here, and a question that I think about a lot, is if you were to go to, if another community or a school wanted to do this, and this is a risk, as you mentioned. It was a risk for us to start this. It was different. We didn't know what we were doing at first. We've tripped over a lot of things, and we've learned a lot of things along the way. But if you were to say a few lines to another community to say, this is why you need this now and why it's so important now for districts to really take this and put it not just on their priority list, but on their urgent list, what would be maybe an answer to that? But first, I'm going to go to Rayyan as you're thinking about that. Rayyan, what would you say to another student if a student reached out to you and said, okay, I heard you on a podcast. Why is this important? Why do students need to have this experience now? Like, what does it help with in your journey?
Well, I'm actually going to have to shout out my freshman honors geometry teacher, Dr. Sauer, because I'm going to use an analogy that he used. At the end of the year, he usually takes us out to the bus circle because there's like a little bit of a chalk football field out there. And he'll take us through each of the yard lines and what each of these lines mean and how like the year kind of just flashed by with all of us. But one of the important distinctions he makes is that the earlier that you find what fuels you, that purpose that wakes you up in the morning, that kind of potential that you have, the easier it is to build momentum. And I know from physics, momentum is how much you got times like the speed that you're going at. So the more potential that you have fueled in, the faster you'll be able to go. Now, I know personally, I've talked to students in Texas, California, Georgia that are interested in the programs that we are doing and are kind of interested in being fueled the same way that we are. And all it takes is a little bit of a spark of potential to get that ball rolling. And I just want to say that impact is exponential. So going into those math analogies a little bit, it's all about a little bit going a long way and finding that purpose earlier. Just it gets you ahead of the game.
I love it. And Dr. Sowers, thank you for sharing that evergreen advice. Is it evergreen? That's what you're teaching the kids all the time. Joe, you want to start us off? And if you were to answer that question for a community, and we'll just kind of go around the table.
So there's really, I talk to students about there's really no downside. You know, what is the downside? You didn't have this program to begin with, so it's all upside. When there's no downside, just go for it. And we always talk about failure. Failure is okay. You learn from that. So my suggestion is go for it. You're going to be helping kids, and I always use the example of how do you know you want to be a carpenter if you've never picked up a hammer? How do you know you really want to be an accountant if you don't go talk to an accountant, if you don't go see where they work, if you don't do a job shadow or internship with them? It's best to do those things. There's no downside or risk to doing it. Just go for it.
Thanks. Annie, what would you say?
So this morning, I had a student come to me. She's a rising senior, and she feels the weight of the world on making some major decisions in the next year. And she's between going into government and healthcare. And I just think how lucky we are to have a program that helps her explore these options, have adults ready to connect her in ways to make an educated decision for herself. So I just think if you're a district out there thinking, how do we start this? You start small, you reach out to your community, and you grab some very eager and motivated kids who want to go on this ride with you.
That's great.
I just think about we tell our kids that the cheapest way through college is the fastest way through college. So this, giving kids the opportunity to find out what rings their bell or what they go, ugh, because watching kids go, ugh, is just as important as when they go, wow. So they can, wherever they go, whether it's trades, into the workforce, or to further education, they know where they want to go, and that's worth so much inside and out of the pocketbook.
Well, I just have to tell you, it has been a privilege to be here together just to hear the story. And I want to thank you all, because this doesn't happen unless we have people invested. I mean, an idea is an idea, but when you start to have a plan and a strategy come around that idea and people that believe in the vision of that moving forward, amazing things happen for kids. And you've heard that here today. And the XLP program has been, as Rayyan said, it has had exponential impact, not only just with our students, but with our community, with us as leaders. And I encourage people to look into it further. If you want to learn more about it, is there a place they can go to learn more about it? If they want to connect with us, would you say there's an easy place for them to go?
Yeah, so you can go to MHS XLP on the web, or we actually have an Instagram, MHS_XLP, or on LinkedIn, the Experiential Learning Program.
So I encourage you to check those out, connect with them. Don't wait. Get after this right now. It's a perfect time to do that. All right, folks. Well, that wraps up another great conversation here. And remember, it's all about discovering purpose and potential through that love, learn, lead lens. And you can hear in this conversation how people love to help students to discover what matters most to them. And thanks for tuning into this show about discovering purpose and potential through experiential learning. Until next time, continue discovering your purpose and potential through the lens of love, learn, and lead. Love what you do and the people around you. Stay curious and never stop learning. And whenever the opportunity presents itself, step in and lead. Make it a great day.